Ah, welcome everybody back. I don't know if you guys are gonna get this notification. This light is super bright. Jesus, I'm gonna turn this light down. It's too bright. Ooh, that's a little better for me. Bear with me, guys. Back, I'm back. All right, now I'm back. See you guys relatively clear. Hopefully, you guys jump in. Ah, welcome everybody back. I mean, if you're coming in, as you come in, hit the like button. Definitely hit the like button, guys. Jump in, hit the like button. See if I could fix this camera up a bit. All right. It's a little bit better. What's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. Was this the last Saturday? Oh, no, wait. We got 2 more Saturdays left in 2020. So, yeah, man. What's going on, Super Dave? Appreciate that, man. See as you guys come in. I really didn't let you guys know too much. I was going live today. So, I don't really expect too much of you guys being on. But, it's gonna wait till we get a few more people in. It's still early. Was it about 2 o'clock, 2 p.m., 1:50 Eastern time? So I just want to wait for a few guys to come before I answer you guys' questions. Some of y'all probably still sleeping, hanging out. Probably had a long night. Okay, I got about 19 you guys in. As you guys come in, hit the like button. If you guys got questions, you can start typing it in the below in the chat. Um, I'll start doing my introduction and everything like that. But I'm just waiting for a few of you guys to come in. So, but as you come in, type shout where you're coming in from: Arizona, California, Florida, New York, Maryland. Some of you guys actually live in Australia, UK. Just come in, just shout us out, say what's up. What's going on, Andre? I'm doing good, Andre. I appreciate that, man. Avery, what's going on? What year G37 should I look into? Avery, that really depends. I'm gonna get to that question really soon. Just want to see how much of you guys in. Okay, 20 people. So the first thing I wanted to say is thank you everybody for always subscribing to the channel, and the like button, watching. Um, thankful. I'm just thankful for you guys who continue to just support Boost in Motion as it comes a bigger channel. And I'm just so super thankful for it. Because without you guys, it just wouldn't be the Boost in Motion. Like it just won't be. So I just want to say thank you. And right now, just want to get to the questions. All right. All right. So Avery says, what year G37 should I look into? In all honesty, I would recommend a 2013 and up. 2013 G37 because one, you should avoid the gallery gasket issue. There is a gallery gasket issue on the 2012 and older VHR G37s, 370Zs, etc. Gallery gasket is pretty much a gasket that pretty much goes. It wears out over time because it's made of crappy material, and you'll lose oil pressure. Once you lose oil pressure, all the moving components lose oil touching them, and then boom, there goes your motor. So look for 2013 and up G37 sedan or coupe. All right. New stock turbo VR30 record today. Wilson, really? I don't know. Well, write it in the chat. I haven't been online today to see what the new record would be. Juan, what's going on, brother? I'm 100% on you getting a new M3. That would be pretty good, Dave. I mean, that would be dope. The new M3 all-wheel drive will be a great addition to the channel, but those cars are still not coming out yet, and I still got to get a new car soon. Um, Give me a second. On my way, Boost putting you in the PS5. Appreciate that, Arthur. Thank you. Should I get a 3.7 or a 3.0 T? At Big Green Zay, that's really up to you, brother. Or gal, I don't know. It just says Zay. No disrespect. It's really up to you because 3.7, you really just change your oil, change the brake pads, change the tires. That's it. There's a few bolt-ons you can do, and it'll gain a little bit of power. But outside of that, it ain't gonna be nothing that's gonna be competing with 392 Lcats and stuff. I mean, 392 Scat Packs. That's if you into speed. But if you more into the speed part, you should get a 3.0 T. Yes, there's a little bit more maintenance because you do have turbos, but at least you know that you have a car that can compete. So it's really up to you. If you're just really a type of guy who want to just bag the car out, put some nice wheels on it and everything, 3.7 will probably more the swing. Cody, what's going on, man? How are you? I hope you're doing good. Q50 Racing, 3.0 T for Big Green, 3.7 for reliability. See, Q50 Racing answered. Would you get a Tahoe? I have nothing against Tahoes. I mean, I always wanted to get into trucks, but if I ever get into trucks, it ain't gonna be a regular truck. Like if I ever get into truck, it would have to be like an X3M, X4M. Well, you talking about like bigger trucks. Even then, I couldn't see myself getting a Tahoe. Even like the most I would get is probably like a Cherokee, but I would want like a Tricog. I couldn't just get a regular Cherokee. So, but Tahoes are pretty cool. Um, Cookie, what's going on? Should I get Megan lower downpipes for my Q60? That's what Rodney asks. It's up to you. I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to you. Some people are brand loyal, so they like to go with more expensive stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. You can go with AMS, HKS. You can go with AAM. They may also make lower downpipes, but in all seriousness, when it comes to performance, they all perform about the same, literally. But when it comes to quality, usually the more expensive one is usually better. But certain brands, noticed that their quality is just as good as the one that's about a quarter of its price. So, but I would recommend making lower downpipes. I had that on my car for about 2 years, no issues, no problems, and it's pretty common for people to use those lower downpipes. Are Q50 parts expensive? Um, what is really expensive? Remember, you can get a Honda Civic right now and something could break and it could be expensive. To me, something that's expensive to me is how often does it go out and how easy is it for it to change. I should make a video on that. It's pretty dope, but how easy is it for it to change? So like if you have an N54 335i, they have electrical water pumps that go out all the time. They go out pretty often and pretty quick. But the part itself isn't really expensive, but it's sometimes if you don't work on your car, it's the labor that makes it expensive. So I wouldn't say it's expensive because the majority of the time 3.7s are relatively really reliable. 3.0 Ts, yes, if a turbo goes, then yes, that's what would make it more expensive. But if you compare a 3.0 T's turbo to let's say an RS7 turbo, there's a big difference in price when it comes to these OEM turbos. I want to boost my 2017 Nissan Maxima. Any ideas, Andre? To be honest with you, the CVT doesn't handle torque too well. There are probably a few people who have done it in that platform, but the CVT just doesn't handle torque too well. Not saying you can't do it. You can throw money at something at all you want. It's just at the end of the day, it's a CVT. The transmission is gonna just you unless you go on 6-speed manual swap, etc. But that's when you really pouring a lot of money in your car. And do you really want to do that on a front wheel drive Maxima? You know, but if you do, you can do it. But I wouldn't really recommend you doing it. Making the move, son. All right. Rodney, yeah, bro. Blah, blah, blah. Cheap downpipe, you can beat the price. Okay. I damn near cried when I saw that happen to your Q. Yeah, man. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm just happy. Some of you guys been through way worse. A lot of you guys reached out on me on my Boost Emotion IG and my other social medias, and we conversed. And some of you guys been in some really bad car accidents where you look. My accent is nothing, nothing compared to what some of you guys have lived through. Some of you guys have been literally in bed, not say paralyzed, but incapacitated for a little while, like you couldn't move. So I'm just thankful that mine just wasn't as worse as some of you guys, and because some people just have it way worse. And what about some people who haven't survived? But thank you, man. Thank you, Smear. Um, oh man, I honestly get a Q60. I wish I could have got a Q60 before my Q50. Well, they're both about the same car, but the Q50 is still a good car. I still love how it is. They're both good cars. Matthew, okay. Q60 more of an insurance though because 2 doors. Merry Christmas, Boost. I'm up here in Rochester, New York. Do you have any favorite or preferred winter tire? I'm driving a 2011 G37 of first winter with it. To be honest with you, when I used to work for BJ's Wholesale Club and we sold tires, we sell Michelin X Ice tires, right? But I like was it the Blizziacs or Blizzacs way better. Like I just like those way better. We sold ice. I think it's called X Ice tires. I forgot exactly the Michelin tire, but I just didn't like it. I think it was just too. It's too expensive for what it is worth. Majority of the winter tires that are on the market are relatively really good because you're driving on snow. Like, how much more better do you really want it? So at the end of the day, I would recommend looking to Blizzak. Someone's gonna comment below. I think some of you guys have actually had these type of tires in your car. So comment below if you had X Ice or Blizzaks in the the comment section. 630 wheel horsepower, Matthew. Damn. Well, I mean, that's right around where record has been. Everybody's been around 630 for a while. That's, yeah, because Qzilla had done that already. Like, I think Qzilla hit about 285 or 280. I didn't make a video for him, but he hit about 280, 285 already. And AMS did like 274. So 630 is not, you know, 630 is fast. I'm just saying, like, you know, at the end of the day, there's cars who actually have more power on the dyno. Okay, cool. Thank you, Fox Craze. I hope you're doing well, Fox Craze, man. Appreciate you. If you're watching right now, definitely, I want you guys to put in the search button Fox Craze. He's also a Nissan Infiniti Q50 enthusiast, and he does make different content. And I like his content. So you know, you guys might enjoy watching me, but I like watching his videos too. They're different. It's not what I'm doing over here. So you guys gotta understand it. Like there's different YouTubers, and we actually all have much love and respect for each other's channels. So sooner or later, I'm gonna try my best to start pushing other people's content onto you guys because I watch Double R, I watch Speed Culture Studios, I watch my boy 250, I watch Nora TM, Enthusiast POV, and etc. There's a lot of other Q50, Q60, G37 enthusiasts out there. Natish with his G35 that I've noticed that I try to push my viewership a lot more to Nissan Infiniti YouTubers because we're not as big compared to Mopar channels and Drag Times info. So I try to put more of my views into those channels now because at the end of the day, bigger channels, they won already. They won. I mean, yes, I like Carwow. Everyone loves Carwow, right? I like that channel because they put verses, you know, the way they set it up. But there's some other YouTube channels that they did it already, and I may like them, but I want these other guys to do good too, man. I remember when I started off with like I would say 1 subscriber, maybe 10. I remember I started with 10 subscribers. So it's like I just try my best to show that support. Um, Once you get into trucks, you can't go back. X3M is nasty. Yeah, my boy has an X4M. I think that car is fast, and when he finally modifies it, ooh, that car's gonna be fast. Okay, check out boosted Q for maxed out 3.7. Okay, talk to you earlier about the pedal commander. The actual one you reviewed, pedal commander, is on sale, but you recommended me today to Burger Tuning. Which one do you think is better? To be quite honest, they both do the same thing. They just modulate the throttle position sensor of the gas pedal, and that's how it works. So I would recommend going with the more affordable one, the Burger Tuning one. The pedal commander was pretty nice. It was pretty convenient. They had a little app for it. But even then, I believe the Burger Tuning is still more affordable. And I'd rather just support the slightly smaller business, Burger Tuning. So I would recommend that one. But they both will get the job done. All they do is just modulate the throttle, the pedal sensitivity. That's all they do. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. How do you feel about a wait. I missed some questions here. Wow, I need to speed up. You guys have a lot of questions for me today. Bear with me. If you get a 3.0 T, make sure it wasn't a leased or used and don't run bad. Okay, cool. Boost. I've not too long ago found your channel. I'm looking into an Infiniti Q50 in the future. What are the top problems that I should prepare for? At Cookie, it depends on what Q50 you're going to get because there's 4 different Q50s you can choose from if you're in the USA. 3.7, 3.0T, 2.0T, and hybrid. I would say the most reliable. I made a video about this, about the different models already, but the most reliable will be the 3.7. That's the NAVKS. That motor's been around for a while. You don't have to worry about anything. Just change your oil. You may run into an ABS sensor issue. I think that's one of the most common problems that the ABS sensor goes out. But that's it. Car's going to have wear and tear. A starter's going to go. A water pump is going to go. An alternator is going to go. So it's not all these cars, no matter what car you get, they always will have something that withstand its lifespan as a part, and it just goes out. It just happens, no matter if it's a BMW or an Infiniti. 3.5, it's a hybrid. I still haven't heard or at least read any issues with the hybrid system or the battery pack or how long the battery packs last and or the generator. So I really won't have any information on that, but I know those cars are relatively really reliable and the car literally pays for itself. From the different techs that I know in the Infiniti space, They actually stated that the 2.0T isn't actually as bad as people really thinks it is, because it's relatively small motor and underpowered, so people really haven't run into any issues. So the 2.0T may be on that list, but with turbos, parts still go. Like a turbo could go. Other issues can happen. The injectors could get stuck open. I would say at the bottom, the 3.0T in reliability because it has more moving components. It has two turbos, oil lines, and etc. So the problems I would say, honestly, look out in the 3.0T category is for a higher amount of mileage. At some point, the turbos, if you're adding excessive boost, you run into issues. But if you're keeping the car stock, it should give you its life. But with any part, its lifespan, the turbos will go after some point. Or turbo, or maybe it may not go in the sense of like stop working, but might consuming oil or leaking oil or even coolant. This could happen over time. This could be from 30,000 miles to 150. You just don't know. It depends on where you live. Somewhere hot, somewhere cold. How you beat on the car. How you maintain it. Injectors. Some people have continued to have injector issues, but it seems like it's really only for the 2016 models of the Q50 and maybe the 2017, but Q60, but mainly just the first year model of the Q50. The injectors may get stuck open. This is on 93 fuel, not tuned, completely stock. That's the only thing I would really sit there and say when it comes to the drivetrain itself. Outside of that, once again, any part could break. The AC compressor could go out. You might get a flat tire. A headlight bulb may go off. The LED might stop working. This stuff happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, these cars aren't perfect. Hopefully I answered that question good enough, Cookie. Boost, if you get a Q60, are you going to do full downpipes? And if so, cat it or no cats? At David, if you guys don't have me on IG already, you need to go add me on IG because I went live 2 days ago and I actually told everybody on IG, I didn't keep the video up, on the three cars I would get. And I told them what I would do specifically to each car and why. So you guys are watching, so I will say it on video, and this video is actually going to stay up there. If I do get a Q60, I'm actually going to do full downpipes. Reason being is I'll switch it up for the content. So you guys can be like, all right, Boost is doing something slightly different. And now I can show you why you should or shouldn't do full downpipes, depending on where you live. And cat it. And what I do with cat or no cats, I'll probably go full catless because, once again, I want to show you the reasons why you should or shouldn't do it. And also, I can live through it and be like, all right, cool. I did full downpipes. Nothing really happened. I had a good tuner. It is what it is. So that's what I would actually do. Full downpipes, and I'll probably do it non-catted. Because the car is going to get tuned regardless. If I get a BMW, I'm getting XBM. Boost, why us 270 guys get no love? Blue November. The reason why is just like with Infiniti, most of these cars are dated. So the Q70, they scrapped it, of course. You know that, right? But then also, they never changed up the drivetrain. They made it in 2016, VR30. 2017, VR30 in the Q60. Why didn't they put the same VR30 in the Q70? They should have did it, but they chose not to, and they kept the same interior from 2011. They never changed up the interior. What are they doing? So I guess they just didn't know what to do with that car, so they just said, screw it, whatever. The car's reliable. People get the Q70L, which is a little longer. Maybe that's what it is. But outside of that, it gets no love because the 3.7, not everyone cares about it anymore. And the 5.6, I don't know if they still make the 5.6, but they're probably going to scrap that regardless soon enough to go with some kind of either smaller turbo motor or probably smaller turbo motor. Hopefully the VR30, but we gotta wait and see what Infiniti does. But they want to move towards electrification, so we don't know. What's going on, Matthew? Okay, how do you feel about drop with a 3-inch lower downpipe going in 2.5 inch? I am confused. What you mean, Tony? How do you feel about drop with a 3-inch lower downpipe going in a 2. Oh, so 3-inch lower downpipe with a 2.5-inch CATBACK. Well, most of these lower downpipes aren't really fully 3 inches. What they do is when it first enters the. Do I have a lower downpipe around me? No, I don't. Okay. When you first enter, this is actually funny, but the opening of a lower downpipe is usually 2.5 inch. Where they have the flange at. And once it goes in, it starts to taper out and it becomes a 3 inch. And then when it comes to the end, they taper it back into a 2.5 inch. So it's not really truthfully a full 3 inch downpipe. So you should be perfectly fine. And I believe AMS does something like this, and I think one other manufacturer, but they're mainly just 2.5 inch as it enters, but it tapers off to a 3 inch for the lower downpipe itself. So you shouldn't have no issues. Much love, Q70. All right, cause there are 13 more people driving Q70s, and only 2 of them are into modding. That's a good question. I mean, a response. Miss my Q. She's sitting in the garage right now in Cali. I'm whipping the truck, working out here in Wyoming. Okay. And 5-4. Why do people mod the E60 535i? Get the Q70 boost. I couldn't get a Q70. It's just first thing. Once again, not everyone's into modding those cars. Second, it never been really modded. That's it. I just wouldn't get a Q70, and it's very dated. What about the 3.5 hybrid? What is most worth it? 3.5 hybrid or 3.7? I think I made a video like this at Big Green Zay. Wait, I'm way back on questions. Wow. Short answer. If it was up to me, if the 3.5 hybrid could be modified, I would have done that car. If you could have tuned it, because I believe in saving the earth and getting the most amount of money from my gas mileage, and it makes decent power. I would have definitely picked that over 3.7, but you can't modify it. 3.7 if you want reliability, like people say, and 3.0 if you want power, and 3.5 if you just want to save the most amount of gas. So pick your poison. Matthew K. There's 2 people in here that are team no hesitation. Shaking my head. Oh my God. Team no hesitation is in the chat. What's going on? Okay. Boost ideas for 2017 Nissan Maxima. Maximas, you just do. I don't know how you are in your car culture, but when I was in Maxima game, coilovers, lip kits, pick up a nice set of 20-inch wheels that are flush, and the typical visual mods you would do. Maybe a system if you want, if the system's not too bad, or add to the system, and just call it a day. But that's it. I don't believe there's no tuning for the platform, but I could be wrong. They might be tuning it, but it has a CVT, so the CVT takes away so much from the driving experience when you are into cars. Like, you'll love that your Maxima, but the CVT takes away from the driving experience. When you get into a car that actually shifts gears, that has a decent amount of performance, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you literally know what I'm talking about. Question: have a 2012 G37X coupe, finding very mileage ranges and change the differential oil. Dumb. Okay, so you asked me of any particular brand for the diff. It's up to you. I mean, you can use Mobile One, you can use Pennzoil, you can use any differential fluid. Just make sure you pick the right grade. That's it, the right weight. So I think it's like 75W90, or some of my cars I usually do 80W90, something like that. I usually go up in temperature. So there's really no specific brand you could really go to. They all perform relatively really good. Like, we don't have race cars, guys. Like, we can put regular conventional oil in our 3.7. Like, we do not have race cars here, you know? CVT sucks. Q50, okay, I already answered that question. Hey, Boost, okay, no. I'm not getting that car. Blizzax, okay. Gonna check out the Blizzax. Do good, bro. Okay, cool. I'm getting a Q70. It should be 5.6 with the Armada supercharger. And Lema, ND. I believe that supercharger I believe those 5.7s are different. The 5.7 on the, I believe on the not the Hummer, the Armada is different than the 5.6 that's in the Q70 M30 M56. I remember reading that, but that was a couple of years ago. I don't know if someone has found a way to get it done, but I believe those motors are slightly different from if you wanted to bolt it up. Yo, what's going on, visuals? Tesla, okay. Pedal tuners are only useful for towing and stick shift, okay. I love the Q50, fast, cheap, reliable. Okay, cool. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going through the comments. Pedal commands are gimmicks. Just push the pedal further and get same results. Andy, I do agree with you, but when you're not tuned, you don't really get it. You would have to, if you drove a car with a pedal commander or any type of pedal assistance electronics. Some cars you press on the gas and there's a delay. but the car feels more anxious, ready to go, and I like that feeling. Uh, that's how it was when I first got my Q50, my G37, my Maxima. They all felt that way, unless it was a regular traditional throttle body, cable-driven throttle bodies. That's when it doesn't matter. It goes. But a lot of these electronic throttle bodies, they have delay, so that helps out with. So I get it. You could say 300, but for a person with a JB4 that doesn't want to get tuned, this actually does make the car feel a lot more lively. Let me know. Hold a dollar. Late to the party. What's up? What's going, Bradford White? If you guys don't know, definitely check out Bradford White's channel, Team Ultima. Bradford, don't think I forgot. I have a few videos coming out with your T-shirt on. All right. It's just that I don't got the T-shirt on right now. Tony. Okay, cool. How much power do you want to daily boost? To be honest, I miss driving 500 horsepower Q50. Now that I'm driving a Corolla that makes like 150 to 200 horsepower, it takes away the fun. Like I drove that car for 2, 3 years, and it's nice. It was enjoyable, and whenever you wanted to go and get up, it goes and get up, and it didn't feel like it was too much. Like I won't say beast, but like I've never driven like a 800 all drive horsepower car. Like I never had, but I couldn't imagine having 800 horsepower as a daily at stoplights. Like I just couldn't imagine it. So like when I see guys and my boy have a Hellcat, I'm just like he's stick shift, and you just don't want to really rev the car out. You keep it at the lower RPM so that it's more manageable. So I was really couldn't imagine. I think 100 horsepower is relatively really good for stop and go traffic or depending on where you live. But for some of you guys, yeah, guys have long highway stretches. So you guys are getting beat out by freaking Corvettes and Hellcats. So you're like, I need something way faster than this. So I could understand. Later, cool. 3.5 hybrid, then thought, okay, no, slow. Would you line up with an SRT for a 1K dig run? And Royal Purple is trash. I never really tried Royal Purple. I don't know if you're talking to me, Cody, but I wouldn't really race any SRT up at all in my Q50. Even if it's the right 6.4 one run versus my car on 93 tune with a tire, yeah, I think I would do it. I went 1,000, but I'll do it for like 500. As long as he's not shooting nitrous, because it's like on paper we're making similar power, but Tech still lighter than him. So but he's also over drive and he'll squat a lot better. So it really depends. I've seen. I would say a better race would probably be a 392 on tire on the 85 tune, no nitrous, versus like an E85 Q50 Q60 on tire. Um, my tune, of course. I think that would be a really good race because those cars are really close to each other. The amount of really close. Um, recommend any cold air intakes. At dollars, I don't know which car are you speaking about. Travis, what's a good price for a 27 Red Sport right now? To be honest with you, they're going down in pricing. You can get a Red Sports right around. I've seen the lowest mid 20s. I've seen some mid 20s. But guys gotta remember, the lower you see these prices, usually you see higher mileage. One and two, some of these cars have been in the fence. So always do your due diligence. Take the VIN number. Shout out to Sam Crack YouTube channel. Take the VIN number, put it in the Google search button, and go to images. Make sure these cars weren't in any wrecks or accidents, because sometimes the Google images will show if it went through Copart or IAAI, and you'll know if the car is rebuilt or not. Because sometimes some of you guys don't really want to buy rebuilt cars. I understand it. I don't mind buying a rebuilt car, but I want to know how extensively how bad this wreck was, because I don't want to pay premium price for a car that was hit really bad when I could have just got $5,000 discount off it because it was hit before. All right, bear with me. Um, Royal Purple is good, but not nearly as good as the Hype, Amsoil, Redline. I've heard good things about Amsoil. Redline never tried. I never tried any of these oils, to be honest with you. I just never did. Maybe with the next car, I'll try these oils out and see if they are better. I know they have like certain chemicals and stuff in it that would help for anti-rust, better lubrication, blah 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 blah. But I was always the type of guy to just do a regular call a day, Moto 1, call it a day, nothing serious. Because it's not a race car to me. I'm not racing this car. You guys do that. I'm not a race car. This is just my daily. So just that's just how I am. Don't beat me up because of it. Bear with me, guys. All right, you planning on moving out of New York? Cornbread, I would love to move outside of New York. We have a lot of restrictions over here. There's not much car culture. There's car culture in New York City, yes, but we don't have places like drag strips and open spaces to like really enjoy car cultures. Like even in the idea of like going to a parking lot and meeting up as like a car meet, it's like you can't even do that because either the security's gonna come and try to shut you down, or someone's gonna start with a flame maps and verbal maps, and the cops gonna come. It just it's a little too much. It's a little too much. I do love Texas. I do love Georgia. I do love Florida. It seems like there's way better call culture down there, and it's usually 24/7, 365. It's cold right up here now. It's snowing up here. So and if you guys live in the northern states, that's it. You put your car usually away in a depending if you have an all-wheel drive, or like let's say if you have like a Corvette or something. Usually you guys put those cars away because you live in the cold climates. People in the south, like what? They drive their car year round. They get to have fun. So there's a better car culture in warmer climates and more southern states than New York. So I am considering it. Everybody's doing this mass exodus from these specific states that have too much restrictions to other states for other job opportunities for a better quality of life. Because it's really expensive to live in Brooklyn, New York. I love this place. I was born and raised here, but it is super expensive compared to I was looking at yesterday, Fort Worth, Texas. They're building new homes out there from $200,000 to $300,000. I'm talking about beautiful homes. If those homes were in Brooklyn, New York, they'll be like $1.5 million. Just want you guys to know that a $250,000 house in Fort Worth, Texas, is like $1.5 million in Brooklyn, New York. That's insane. So even if you make $100,000 a year in Brooklyn, in New York City, that's still not enough. You're basically like, yeah, you're average. Yeah, like all right, cool. You can drive a Toyota Camry. Like, let me stop ranting. Let me see. Boost, I have found that an all-wheel drive Q50 is faster in road drive mode. Many others have shared these results. Your thoughts, Smear? I haven't tested it. I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't know. I've never tested it. So Smear, I would assume you did either a draggy or maybe you did a like you roll raced or something like that. But you gotta remember, guys, our all-wheel drive system, after about 18 miles an hour, it disengages the front wheels and actually puts about 80 to 100% of the power to the rear wheels. So when you're moving, yes, until it picks up slip in the other wheels in the front, then that's when the front, of course, drive shafts kick in and it start putting some power there too to try to mitigate you from crashing and killing yourself. But if you tested it out, it would probably make sense. Um, okay. Oh, so Red Sport. Either stock Red Sport, intakes with drop-in filters. Try to go with dry cone or no dry drop-in filters. Try to stay away from like the K&N with oil and everything on it because that stuff gets on a mass airflow sensor. So try to get the dry drop-in filters, or you can go with AMS filters. I had them on my car, relatively good. As you turn the boost up, you will gain additional power. Some people have stated, some tuners have stated that they haven't seen additional power, but other tuners said that they do perform better at higher pound of PSI. Yeah, with me, guys. Okay, yo, F82, what's going on, bro? New York City car culture is exotics and deep dish wheels. Yeah. This is what I would say. New York City car culture is, if you want a sexy car in New York City, you're going to be bagged with some really wide wheels. Yeah. There's really not much of a car culture on going fast and racing and stuff. They are out there, but compared to 15 years ago, I would say 10 to 15 years ago, it has changed a lot. You'll take your stock G37, bag it, wheels, and that's it, and that's your build. That is it. But everyone loves a nice looking car, so it's like something that you want to hate against. But how can you hate on something that looks clean? Come to Atlanta. Lots of cool cars and other YouTubers. Yeah, I mean, I love Atlanta, bro. That's where Enthusiast POV lives now. Brother, I have a question for the Q50 Red Sport. Okay, Osama, tell me what it is. Thank you, Smear. I appreciate the donation. Fastest car out there. Any rental charge. My mind. Appreciate that, Smear. Thank you, man. Thank you. All right. Okay. So, Osama, what's the question, man? Because you said you have a question. Smear. Okay, cool. Blah 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 blah. Houston doesn't get too cold. Yeah, I've been told. Right now, my friend is. I was supposed to be. If you guys are watching, I was supposed to be in Dallas yesterday and today, and then in Houston tomorrow. But I didn't get to tell you guys anything because I didn't know if I was going or not. So I ended up canceling the trip for other family reasons and stuff like that. But I was supposed to be in have a pop up meet and try to set something up in Houston and Dallas this weekend. So once again, I was supposed to go to Dallas twice and I haven't made it. So hopefully the third time will be a charm. Maybe next time, next year, around when it's a little warmer, March, April. We'll wait and see. Hopefully COVID and everything is a lot more reduced by that time, so we don't have to like act this way anymore. Um, it's cheap. I'm not moving now. Okay. Shaboos, how do you feel about the new Nissan 400 that's coming out versus the Q60 Red Sport? So you talking about the 400Z, Travis? Oh well, the way I feel about it is this: you're gonna get a manual. So a lot of you guys are still enthusiasts and you like 6-speed manual. It is going to be a newer Z car. I definitely like the look of the car. For what it's worth, it's very has a simplistic look. It's familiar DNA. It's pretty much a 370Z with the VR30 in it. I'm waiting to see what automatic transmission they're going to use. I really want to know if they're going to use a 9-speed transmission because if they use a 9-speed and it handles power good, I can see that car being a very fast quarter-mile car, like on the track because it's gonna be light. It's gonna have a VR30, and it's probably gonna perform really good with a 9-speed versus our 7-speed. Versus the Q60, you guys gotta remember the way Nissan has these cars set up is basically the 300Z is the boy racer car. The G37 is the 370Z with a suit. That's it. So it's the same thing with the 400Z. Boy racer car, Q60, wearing a suit. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference I would really sit there and say. But then of course the Q60 has no 6-speed manual. So if you lived in Southern State, you would go red? A rear wheel drive, I assume? No. I like the feeling of all wheel drive. Like taking off at a stoplight and not having to deal with too much emotions and learn how to modulate. I guess that's the how would you say it? Like when I drive my friend's 5.0 Mustang, it's like it's exciting. It's an exciting feeling because you don't know what you can get yourself into. You know what I'm saying? It's more control. You're more engaged. It's like you're actually taking control over the beast. Old drive, it kind of takes away that feeling, but there's something about taking off and going. Like it feels so good. I like that feeling. I don't know. I like that control feeling. Um, yo, Boost, you not drinking the dark liquor? No, I'm not. I started going back to the gym. Well, I started going back to the gym about 2-3 months ago, but then I took like a month off around my birthday, and then the car accident happened, and so I haven't been going to the gym. So I started going back to the gym about a week and a half ago. So I'm like trying my best not to drink too much alcohol. At least, and plus, I don't want to drink around alcohol right now around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Even though it's even though it's happy hour somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm not going to be drinking any liquor today. Are you sad that they killed the Maxima with the CVT? Bonds, yes. I was a Maxima fanboy before Infiniti fanboy. I like the Maxima over the i30 or the i35. I love my front wheel drive Maximas. When they made the 2007 Maxima, I love the look of it. They gave it a little bit more edgier. I like the rear and had a little rear valance on it. I like the interior. I always like the 7. That's the 6th gen, right? 6th gen. The 6.5. But then they gave it the CVT, and I was like, what is this? And I drove it, and I was like, what is this? This don't feel right. When you drove a 2006 Maxima with the 5-speed versus Max 2006 or 7 Maxima with the CVT, it took away the whole feeling of the car. And ever since then, I never liked it. I never liked the noise the CVT makes. I know they probably made better ones over time, but I still don't hate the feeling of it. I freaking dislike it. When I had a rental a few weeks back, I had a little Sentra. Hated the CVT. Freaking hate it. I have a Corolla rental now, and it actually changes gears. I don't think it's a CVT, but if to me it actually changes gears. It goes, so I assume it actually has a proper transmission, and I'd rather drive that than the Sentra Versa. Period. Um, Bear with me. Come on, iPhone. Come on, iPhone. What are you doing? See, you see iPhones. See, you're on Android right now. Get bear with me, guys. All right. If you could have any Infiniti slash Nissan and build it any way you want, budget not an issue, what would you end up with? Good question, Jared. All right. How do I? And he said any and build it. I have a. I don't want to say I have a soft spot, but I would get a S14, and I know it sounds stupid, but I really like when people swap the LS motors in those chassis of cars, and then you put a turbo. I think that is the dopest thing ever. But how many clean S14s can you find? And if you find a clean one, how much is it gonna cost to get the body? You know, and then get an LS1 iron block. We could be like the smaller or even a lot newer LS1s, but I'll get like an older LS1 iron block. Build it from there, rods, pistons, and either a supercharger or a turbo. If not, I watch what's this guy named Hoonigan. They have a 240SX over there, and he has a 1JZ, but I would do 2J. But he had a 1JZ, and I'm like, I like that. I like how it look. I wouldn't put in an SR20 or an RB. I don't really care. I'm not saying those motors are not or bad motors. It's just I don't really care for them. So that's what I would really do if it was money wasn't really an option, wasn't a problem. That's like an actual build I would love to do from like the rolling chassis and up. Like, because you'll do the outside of the car, you do the inside, the interior, the fuel lines. You're literally doing everything, and you know where everything is. So I would love to do something like that. That's so dope. I would love to do that for the channel, or just in the future. Good question, man. I appreciate that, brother. Okay, real drive is fun as hell, but as soon as you're pulling away, okay, cool. I have a 2017. Is there any tune compatibility without a transmission swap? I actually don't know. I haven't been in the Maxima community for a while. At least the eighth gen, I assume that's the eighth gen. I wouldn't know if there is a tune available. You can hit up Monsef from Admin Tuning. I know he does tune a lot of Nissan Infiniti vehicles, or even hit up Z1 Motorsports and ask them if they do it. Or somebody in this chat is probably going to answer for you because they probably know more than me. I don't really know if they still tuning those cars. I know you can tune your 7th gens, but I don't know about 8th gens. What's your dream car? My dream car is actually a 918 Porsche. That's my actual dream car. That car is sick. Basically regenerative braking. Everything is just the car recouping power to give you more power. Hybrid electric motor, electric car. It's insane. It's a supercar, and look how much that car costs now. I think what's his name, DJ Envy has one recently, or he had one, but that car is, to me, it's gonna be a timeless car. And whoever got that car when it first came out, they made money 10 times, and I still don't think you should sell it. Maximum 90s were badass. Corolla has CVT. It's just far better one. Okay. Okay, cool. Corolla CVT, but with the first gear. Okay, cool. So whatever CVTs in the Corolla feel way better. It's so crazy how I pull away from 2020 Maximas in my '08 G35S. The CVT nurtured the performance. I thought it should at least keep up. That's what I'm saying. The CVT took away gear ratios. That's it. Gear ratios, making shorter, different amount of gear ratios is important. CVT is just two big wheels, and they just either spin down to the smaller wheel on a universal belt. Like, whatever. That's what Infiniti and Nissan want to do. Infiniti does it now to a QX50 and now QX55, which is going to have a freaking CVT and a 4-cylinder turbo. God, they destroyed the FX. It doesn't sound stupid. It's stupid, crazy hard, especially with drift builds. Okay. I can use a Q50 twin turbo in summer like the. Okay, cool. All right. Damn boost, you done offended the Nissan purist. Well, I don't think so. The Nissan Maxima better have the real transmission, or I'm done with Nissan. Maximas are not gonna get back to a traditional transmission. I just want you to know that. That's it. Just give up. They finally added an all-wheel drive system to their Ultimas. It took them that long to figure that out. Like, let's just see if we can make all-wheel drive option. They should have been doing it forever. You had it in your Rogues and your Kicks for whatever those little cars are for the longest. You could have implemented into those same cars. Just raise the price up of the car with another $2,000. Oh, now it's an all-wheel drive option for $2,000 more. Everyone would have bought it. My boy blew his SR in his S13, throwing an LS into it. Okay, cool. The V8 grunt is crazy. Can't lie though. A-Gen has good overall design. I believe Nissan always made the Maximas look like no other cars on the road. I do agree with that. Talk to John at Z1 Motorsports about the Maxima. Yep, John Porham at Z1 Motorsports. Boost, what do you think about Cadillac Blackwing 4.2 TT in the CTS? They only made it for a year or two. Stock for stock, easily walks away from the CTS-V. Arthur Hall, I know nothing about the 4.2 twin turbo. I assume that's a V8 that came in a CTS. I'm not familiar with it. So I'm going to have to learn about that, and I'll get back to you. But I know nothing about that. Do you like the looks of the 2018 TL Type S? Yeah. Growing up, there was always a war between Maximas and Acura TL Type S's. It was always like either you were Nissan Maxima game or you Acura TL Type S game. They were always going back and forth at it because they were like in the same category of cars. So I definitely always looked at pointy look of it. Like the front is good looking, the rear is good looking, the sides are good looking. The interior, I like the interior. Like everything kind of like it just they designed that car well. That's to me one of the best design Acuras out there next to the Acura NXX. Literally. And also the Teggies, the Integras and stuff. And even the RSX looks good too. I think that generation right around those was at 2005 and up to like 2013, 2014. I think they designed a lot. The way Acura was designing their cars was really good looking. A lot of people ran out, even got the MDX. No more tunes for the 8th gen 07. Okay, respect 19, the best hypercar for Trinity. I think that the 7th gen was the last one to get a tune. Maximus are basically Ultimas with bigger engines now. Acura TR Type S. Okay, sing on go. Okay, yo, Boost. I crashed my old 03 G35 and it was my first car. I'm 19. I'm thinking about getting a car to work on that's cheap. Any suggestions? Well, I hate because when you ask me this, it's like I'm a Nissan Infiniti person, but there's plenty of other cars that you can also work on. Just like I sat there and talked about Acuras. If you drive a stick shift car, TSX, they make that car front wheel drive TSX with 2.4 KA24. That motor's dope. If you want to get into the Honda game, K24 or K20 motors, dope. You go work on them, and they're really fast and really light. If you still want to stick in the Infiniti game, it's really up to you. Try to see if you can get like a 2007 G35S or G35X. That's with the HR motor, a relatively good motor. You can start tinkering with it, modify it. You can even get 350Zs for about 5-6 grand if you really want to push it and if you want to get into a coupe. Outside that, there's plenty of American cars you might want to get into that are about between $5,000 to $10,000. You can even get some of the older model 5.7 Chargers. I hate to say 5.7, ew, but they're out there. There's different cars. You just gotta look and know what your budget is actually. Okay, you have to look into your budget. One, two, you have to see what you want. Do you want an all-wheel drive car? Do you want a rear-wheel drive car? Do you want a front-wheel drive one? Do you want a manual? Do you want an automatic? And at the end of the day, look up reliability. Because you can go get the nicest car that you want to get. You're like, okay, I really like this Subaru. But then you throw any boost at it, it pops its motor, blows its piston rings. What's the point of getting a 5-cylinder motor if it's never going to run? I'm just saying. So definitely look into that. Just try to pick your poison. That's the best recommendation I can really give you, brother. Um. Okay. Come over to the Team Cadillac Infinity or two plane. I agree with you. Simplicity Auto Works. I mean, I think Cadillac didn't work on the image enough. Here's why I'm saying that for the people who are watching. I even know it was 240. Here's why I'm saying that. You see how Dodge made cars that are badass? So you want a 392, we got it. You want a car, a V6 that looks like a 392, we got it. You want a V6 with wide body fenders, we're gonna put it on. If you want a Hellcat, a Red Eye, we got it. And they did so good at marketing. Everything has this performance oriented top model car for almost every car they own, and it sells. So Caddy made the smaller cars for regular day people, but then they gave it the V version, which should have worked. The ATS-V, to me, is a dope car that never really got the respect it should have got. It was definitely, definitely M3, M4 competitor. Period. AMG competitor. They took those cars to the Nürburgring, the CTS-V too, to the Nürburgring. Those cars are freaking dope. But the thing is, they didn't grasp enough young drivers or younger people who would want to spend and purchase those cars. People rather say, you know what? Should I get this ATS-V, which is dope? This car's fire. Or should I get this M3? They get the M3 because of the name. Cadillac is dope. The car performs amazing. Those cars are fast. But it's like, nah. CTS-V, fire. But you know what? That M5 is looking way better. What's the M5? Yeah, M5 is looking way better. I'm going to get that M5. You know what I'm saying? They made the CTS-V in a wagon, a coupe, and a four-door. What? A wagon CTS-V, a coupe, and a four-door. And they didn't sell because they never put enough marketing to try to get the younger buyers. I don't mean younger buyers like 18, but like, you know, Cadillac feels like it's a bunch of old people who drive their cars. So if they would have got a lot of people in their mid-20s or late 20s that would rent out and went and got those cars because of the performance advantage, I think they would have did a lot better. Also, I think they should have made an all-wheel drive car. I know it's America, everything's rear-wheel drive, but I just really wish they would have said, you know what, let's just make an all-wheel drive car and see if it sells. The Trackhawk sells because it's all-wheel drive. Well, it's a truck, it's a Model 1, but it's all-wheel drive. It's no fuss. That car launches. Make an all-wheel drive freaking Red Eye, please. Make an all-wheel drive Red Eye Charger. I am leaving immediately and going right to Dodge. Like, all right, guys, it was cool in Nissan Infinity World, but they got a supercharged V8 all-wheel drive Red Eye Charger. That is fire. I know it's American junk, like you guys say, but that is fire to me. And wide body, of course. Water. No more tune. All right. Well, I really ranted there, guys. Don't beat me up. Get the likes up too if you're watching. Get the likes up. You know, I hope you guys have an amazing evening and afternoon and night, depending on where you are. And I just want to say thank you guys for always watching and support me, man. You guys keep me going. If it wasn't for you guys, I think I would have quit this a long time ago. But I believe in that you got to keep putting in the effort. You got to be persistent and consistent with things in your life, because when you quit at the start, you never know what may come into fruition. I never thought I would be here right now on a Saturday at 2 o'clock talking to you guys and just answer you guys' questions. Like, I'm just so thankful for y'all. So thankful for y'all. Okay, new Caddy V car has 6-speed too. Okay. 2008 Type S. Okay, cool. Which is better, all-wheel drive, road drive? Osama, that's really up to you. Osama, that's really up to you. Depends on what you want it for. So someone asked me on my IG yesterday, which car would be better for sliding, the 3.7 or the 3.0T? I said it's really up to you. Both of them are very different, open differentials, but you could get the low end torque a lot faster with the 3.0T compared to the 3.7. We got to rev it out a little bit, but both ways, if you're good at drifting, you know the power band, you should be relatively good. Just weld the differential and send it, you know. But it's really up to you. If you live in a place where you like to take off from stoplights and get a bit more control of the car, you know, just feel more driver confident, I would say all drive. But a lot of you guys like the real drive life because you might live in Florida or a warmer state where you don't really get snow, and you like to slide your car. You like that feeling of the back wheels pushing you. Get a real drive. Yup, I remember those TL versus Maxima days. Who remember when all the Ghanis was mining the RDX turbos? I actually, yo, to be honest, I know they came with a turbo, but I didn't bump into a lot of RDXs. I have a fourth gen TL, but it's not manual, sadly. Those transmissions do go out if you don't take care of them. ATSV twin turbo V6 with 4.6 out of the box, manual 6 speed with flat shifting and choice of 8 speed auto walks the dog out of most sports cars and can be under $45,000. I agree with you. I completely agree with you. That's what I was saying earlier. I don't know, bro. I think about the Q60, or I'll go with something outside box like a Volvo aftermarket. I did like the S60 or the S or the what was it, the S60R Volvo ones, the older ones, but they were completely not reliable. I lived through a lot of other YouTubers who had that S60R or whatever it is. That car was completely unreliable, but it was like the only sport version car they really made. I think Volvo makes good looking cars. It's just that they don't really care for us. They have cars right now that are supercharged and turboed at the same time. If you guys don't know this, I forgot which car it is. Someone type below. Volvo makes a car right now that is supercharged and turbo. I think it's a hybrid. I think it's supercharged, turbo, and hybrid. So just double check me and let me know, guys, in the chat. I gotta run through these questions a little quicker. I don't know, bro. Okay, cool. Twin turbo, 300 horsepower. So does the blah blah. How does the twin turbo really affect anything? A lot. At IN, you would have to drive. Well, you would have to drive a car outside your Maxima. They make similar power, but a transmission with 7 speeds shifts a lot different. It has different power bands compared to a car that just has a CVT where there's just two things rolling and there's a band connected to them. If you drive any car with a traditional transmission, you know what I'm talking about. There's an excitement and feeling with a transmission changing gears, or even 6-speed manual when you change your own gears. CVT takes that all out. CVT is for gas mileage and complete comfortability, and technically supposed to be for reliability also. Most people don't want the jerkiness of a car going like this through every gear. Some people just want to get in the car and be like, they want to get into it and give it gas like, like that's what the CVT does. And I'm not saying that's terrible, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just not for the CVT life. I wanted a caddy, okay. ATSV, monsters, okay. Mega caddy, ultimate sleeper. LTs didn't sell too well because they cost too much. 72 new, exactly. The ATSV compared to a BMW M3, people rather get the BMW M3. I think they should have made that car a little bit more affordable. If they would have made that car 10K cheaper than an M3 or M4, it would have definitely sold a lot more like hotcakes. Hey boo, sorry to hear about the car after having a Q50. I picked up a 2020 Camry XEY and taking it easy. I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that, Russo. It is what it is, man. Ain't nothing wrong with a Camry. Yo, some of these Camrys have way better tech than Q50s. Way better. And super nice, comfortable place to be. A lot of these newer cars are really nice to drive. I'm telling you right now. They drive real sweet. They're real quiet. They're really reliable. And they get the job done. They're not bad places to be. Q50 Red Sport needs updates on gear F horsepower. Okay, I'm saying, does you need updates on gear if the horsepower is over 500? No. At Osama, no. You don't have to update the gearing or anything like that when you're making more 500 horsepower. The transmission does handle a lot of torque, so you shouldn't have much issues based on your modifications you choose to throw at your VR30. Keep grinding. Thank you, Ronta. I appreciate the regular ATS comes with overdrive, 2.0 speed, mag, etc. I didn't know it came with mag ride. I didn't know that the 2.0 got mag ride. But remember that for people, for the older gentlemen and older women who want a comfortable driving car. But not as a car guy, we'll look and say 2.0 T all drive 8-speed automatic mag ride. That sounds like it'll be a great car to drive. And you drive, you're like, whoa, this car needs tune immediately. Because you're like, this is so underpowered. But then tune cars, you find out where the weak points are. I would rather modify the ATSV because it was built to be modified compared to a 2.0 T, which is just their bargain motor they just had all back and they just threw it in there because they're like, all right, cool, we want to just pass emissions, you know? Dobro catch you in the next one. Appreciate that, Cody. Thank you, man. What's the average cost to get your 3.0T to 500 horsepower range? Vital, pretty much nothing. If you get a 3.0T, you can touch 500 horsepower with lower downpipes on the tune, like, and a heat exchanger. So it can be done for about $1,500 to $2,000. You should have a 500 horsepower 3.0T because you want to get a heat exchanger, you want to get lower downpipes, and you want to get a tune. You could be able to hit excuse me. You should be able to get to 500 horsepower relatively easy. It could be definitely done. Some people have chose to skip the heat exchanger to save even more money, so they got it down to like under $1,000 to make almost 500 horsepower. But what's the point of tuning a car on complete stock heat exchanger and just lower downpipes? You know, it doesn't make sense to do that. It was a 2.2, blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. X690 and S690. Okay, cool. Thoughts on the Phoenix Mark Tesla screen? I've never owned one, Christopher. But from what I've been told, you have to get the latest version. I think it's the Mark III or the 3 version. I know when the first one came out, it was super laggy, super slow, and glitchy. 2, the same thing. But 3, I've heard it's a little bit better, a lot bit better actually. But I never owned one, so I can't tell you run out there and go get it. Hit 12.62 at 111 and a quarter mile with my Stinger GT2 last weekend, even straight from the fact that this car is so underrated. That's actually really good. Definitely think the Stingers are definitely quick. I think if they were lighter, like a G70, they'll probably do even a quicker time. Yeah, it's like supercharged and turbo. Okay, booster. So man, which car would you recommend for daily driving, but not to have a little fun? I haven't driven a lot of cars. Like I haven't owned many cars, but any car. If you found a car that fits your lifestyle, a few years ago when my first Q50 got into an accident, I rented a Yaris. I love driving that Yaris. And I know it wasn't like the best Yaris that you could have made, but it was super nimble. The transmission, it reacted, it shifted relatively quickly. It was, of course, underpowered, but I knew where its sweet spot was. And it just drove. You see, I'm smiling because it gave you that feeling of like, oh, I like how this feels. And I had that car for like maybe 2 weeks. And I enjoyed driving it. Like, I'm not saying if I had to choose between the Q50 and that, I'll choose it. But as a daily driver, that Yaris was definitely fun. It was like hatchback too, so the back opened up like a hatchback, and that car was really fun to drive. You just gotta find a car that fits you and fit what you need to get done. Just make sure that if you get a daily driver, make sure it has the standard features that you would want. Renting these last 2 cars the last couple of weeks, I realized that I do miss remote start because it's cold, so I miss remote start. 2, what else? Heated seats. They're cloth, which is okay. So it's like, all right, I can live. I can live. Heated steering wheel, yes, definitely miss that a lot. What else do I miss? Of course, a proper transmission because CVTs are funny. And that's really it. Just make sure it has Bluetooth and things that you just know are creature comforts that you would want in a car. Most of these lower level, entry level cars do have it. You just got to make sure you find the ones with that. Oh, and also on top of that, because it snowed in New York, I miss all-wheel drive. I freaking miss it because this little Corolla, the little front wheels, I take the traction control off. I gotta rock the car backward and forward, burn the tires up. Like I'm not shoving this car out. It's a rental. I'm gonna push my way out. But I miss all-wheel drive so much. Ugh, I immediately missed it. And I can just imagine you guys who are rear-wheel drive and a little bit of snow comes on the floor. Yes, you go with some Blizzaks or X-Ice, but you know. So I'm sorry, Andy. I feel like I didn't answer your question. I just would want you to do your search, your due diligence, and just look around and price cars that you would really want to find. CVT is actually the most performance you can possibly get out of the engine is downsized reliability. Okay, not compared to the 3. Volvo T6 has supercharged and turbo all-wheel drive. T8 has supercharged turbo plus electric motor in the rear. Yes, so it's the T8. Yes, thank you, Bonds. I appreciate that. V90R is supercharged turbo and hybrid monsters. Okay, yes, you mean okay T8. Okay, cool. New Camry V6 are nice, but not as quick as the previous. You can get a Volvo in a T8 not. Okay, cool. What up? 10. Okay, Richard, what's going on? Volvo has a lifetime warranty on all their parts. Wow, I didn't know that. Replace free for life. That's kind of dope. Last question, brother. Is the HKS blower valve good for a 3.0T? Any blower valve is good for any turbo car. You're releasing excess boost pressure or just pressure out of the system, so you can take a less stress off the moving components. That's it. That's it. You can go with any blower valve. It could be an HKS, it could be a tile, it could be eBay blower valves if you guys seen on my channel, or Gretti's. It's up to you. Blower valves is just a precautionary measure to release the excess boost. That's it. That's literally its job. A lot of newer cars don't have this stuff, but back in the day they had diverter valves, which are very similar to to blow up valves, which release the excess pressure. What do you think about Golf R? I like the Golf R. If you want to talk about Golf R, let's talk about the older R32s. I feel like those are some rare cars you don't see either. I don't see any. I don't mean Skyline R32s. I'm talking about Volkswagen R32. I forgot. Is it the Passat? Someone comment below which version that is. But it was dual. I think it was dual clutch, 7-speed, turbo 4-cylinder, or VR6. I can't remember. So it's been a while. I don't see those cars anymore. I feel like those cars just disappeared off the face of the earth. Comment below, guys, if you know what I'm talking about. Ford Focus ST manual is definitely a fun car to drive. But Golf R is dope, though. I definitely like the Golf R. What are your thoughts on a JB4 Red Sport? Is it worth extra 50 to 100 horsepower price and quality instead of an actual tune? Dollars, to be honest, I say like this. JB4 is just used for these reasons. One, you got a lease and you don't want to invest much in the car and you want a quick boost of power that's relatively easy to do, reliable, and then take it off when the lease is over. That's what the JB4 is for. It's a quick boost in power, have some fun with it, and then you can sell it back. A tune is something that I would say if you know you want to keep the car and you want to invest into getting the most, to maximize the most amount of power with your car, and you're going to be modifying, you're going to live with the car, then do a tune. Also, some people do tunes on their car just because they want the most power out of their car. So they spend their money on it. Like, I'd rather tune my car. Screw y'all guys. I don't care if it's lease or finance. So it's really up to you. But the JB4 is definitely worth it. Quick bump in power. You enjoy driving the car. But if you know you're going to keep the car and you want to maximize the most amount of performance into it, then I would say recommend skipping the JB4. Just do your bolt-ons such as the heat exchanger, lower downpipe or full downpipe, CATBACK exhaust, intakes, and then look into a reputable tuner, and then have your car tuned on 91, 93, or E85, however you choose to do so. The new Yaris GR is all-wheel drive, so that car must be fun to drive. Just thinking about it. Get a M2 competition. We know you want it. Ali, what's going on? M2 competition. I lived through Fresh Kicks. I saw how he did with the car, how much fun he had, and yeah, that car looks like it's fun. I think in 2020 that was like the last like M car everyone keeps talking about. Like, that car is it. But I'm not really a fan of them too. I like the way the car looked, but I just never really a fan of the size of it. I think they really just cut the car up and just squish it together and make it a competition car, whatever. So, but it's a nice car, but I would never really get it. I like my all-wheel drive cars. It's funny because the Nissan Maxima has more tech. Yeah, it's true. Q50 just said car play. Yep. Oh, GTI R32. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. I knew it was yeah, GTI R32. I don't see much of them. Those cars to me were really dope. I had an 04 Maxima many years ago, 60 manual heated seats here, and steering wheel, car was loaded. Yeah, definitely. For its time. JB4 on my lease don't expect anything crazy or complete changing dynamics of the car, but definitely got me my stock Red Sport power. Yeah, it gives you a quick bump. If you have a Red Sport, you gain between 40 and 50 with horsepower. That's it. That's cool. Call it a day. You don't need to do too much else to the car. If you're okay with that, you're okay with that. But if you want to go more down the line, then of course you'll do more bolt-ons and then finally find a full-fledged tune. Boost, I think you look good in like TTRS. I'm not really a fan of TTRS. The TTR has only got that much respect now because of the motor that's in it. I think it's a good looking car, but there's other better looking two-door cars out there than a TTRS. I would rather get an RS3 because I'm a four-door lover, and I think that it looks better and more sleeperish looking. Oh, M240 Xi X Drive. I would rather get a 440 X Drive or a 340 X Drive. The two series is just too small to me, even though they're not small inside. I just don't like how the car look aesthetically. Like, you know, when the first one series came out, the 135i, I didn't like how it looked. It just looked like they took the front end of a BMW and they made the everything smaller, and then they just added some back to it, and it just looks funny, like this little tiny car. Yes, I understand you go to a racetrack and have fun with it, but it's like, ugh, we just smashed it together, and then we're like, this is it. They'll buy it. That's how I felt like. But as time got better, they really designed the 1 series to be a better looking car, and now it's kind of the 2 series. And the 2 series is actually what the M3, the E46, E90 used to be. So now the 2 series to me is like the E90 slash E46. So I think that's that, at least how when it comes to the size of the car, how it look. And now the M3, M4 became a larger size car like what the 540 used to be. But the five, I would say the 550 is still a big car because the M3, the F80 and F82 is still a smaller car than the older 550 and 535. So I'm wrong there. I'm definitely wrong with the size of that. So I'm throwing off on that one. So I'll just retract that statement. Okay. Let me just run through here. Okay, what other questions here? Hopefully I didn't miss anybody's questions. No, I don't think I did. Okay. Yo, get an Audi. Of course, Michael would like me to get. Michael Joseph would like me to get an Audi. Do you see yourself in another Q50 grocery getter for life? Yeah. No. I had two Q50s, man. I had a 3.7 2015 and I had a 2018 Q50. No, I'm not gonna be back in a Q50. I definitely love the look of the car. I believe in New York City now, we're overridden by Q50s. At one point, when I first got my Q50, there wasn't much of people with them. And then when I got my 2018, I was still different. But now that you can get a Q50 for as low as $10,000, I've seen it for almost $10,000. Pretty cheap. Um, Everyone has it, and we love our Infinitis, Nissans in New York City. We love them, but as cars get more affordable, I know some of you guys are watching. You're young. I'm 33, but when I was 18, of course, like my Maximas and stuff like that, I was a car guy, and I still am. But as younger cats are getting the Q50, they're getting the 2014, 2015, 2016. It took away some of the exclusivity, I would sit there and say, because when I'm in like the M3, M4 groups, those cars are still expensive. So people usually act a little different with those cars. They carry themselves a little different. I don't know, man. I feel like it's starting to become a little ricey in the Q50 realm, at least here in New York City. It's getting a little ricey. No disrespect, but like it's just like I don't. It's like, what are you doing, bro? I don't like how that car looks. But at the end of the day, they can do what they want with their car. My honest opinion. Don't beat me up for that comment, guys. I'm just being honest. I love all y'all, but you know, upgraded turbo RS3 in SoCal was passing Hellcats on the strip. Of course, you could do it on stock turbo on the RS3. Will pass Hellcats. Stock turbo, low 10s, maybe even 9s. Hybrid turbo probably get you a 9s on stock block. 2 series, very similar size to the old E46 coupe. Yes. Is your car totaled? Alec, I do appreciate that question. In the next videos this week, you're going to get the answer. So you asked a good question. I'm not going to let you guys know now, but you will know what happened before Christmas. You will know the fate of the Q50. And in the next 2 weeks, I would say from now, you're going to know the fate on what's the next car I'm going to get. So stay tuned. Appreciate that. What's the residual on your Q50? It was, oh my God. The residual was about 24,000. It was 24,000 residual, I believe. 24,000 was pretty much the payout, the buyout. Could you elaborate more on the 500 horsepower Q60 within $2,000 and smaller range? Okay, Garcia, that's a good question. So pretty much, this is what I would do, right? If you want to hit 500 horsepower on your 3.0T Q50 or Q60, you can do these simple things. Number one, you're gonna need a heat exchanger. I would say this is definitely a recommendation. People have chosen not to do it, but what happens is when it gets hotter outside, the car won't be as perform as good. So I recommend getting a heat exchanger. On the market, you can go with a cheaper frozen boost DIY front mount intercooler looking. You might have seen people with Q50 Q60 with that front mount intercooler look. That's a frozen boost heat exchanger, but that's more of a DIY type of thing. You could definitely check on Facebook groups for people who've done that build, or even on org sites on Google. And I think I have a few people. I think there's a few people on YouTube, such as Spartan, who's done this before. You could try to follow those models. Those heat exchangers are about 150 to 170. Or the second cheapest route is you go with a Burger Tuning heat exchanger. That's $300. It's a direct fit. It's easy to install. That's my recommendation, just because of the price and the ease of install. Anything above that is more expensive, $500, $600, $700. Cool. So now you're at $300 mark, right? Now you want to move into uh lower downpipes. Lower downpipes, 150. That's it. You can go with PLM, lower downpipes, or you can go with Megan Racing, lower downpipes. They're 150. Boom. That's 450. So now you have about, you said under $2,000, you have, what is $1,500? 1,550 left. You can choose. It's up to you. It's up to you. You can either stay on stock exhaust if you want. You can do that if you really want to. Stay on stock exhaust and just get a tune. Tunes can range between, I believe, $700 for a male tune. Like, they can send you an actual tune. That RT Tuning in Pennsylvania does this, where they have mail order tunes where they can just send you the tune, and that's it. But I would recommend looking into remote tunes or a dyno tune if you are close to a dyno and an actual tuner. So that can range between $700 to about $1,000 depending on the tuner, and they can be able to optimize the performance of your car by doing data logs, where you drive on a highway, hopefully an empty place in Mexico, and you'll do some runs in third or fourth gear. You'll send the information back over to them. They'll check the car. They'll send you back some new information. You upload it to the ECU. You drive the car again to make sure there's no bugs. You do this 2, 3, 4 times so you feel like you're comfortable on how the car reacts, how the performance feels, and then you're good to go. So 450 plus, let's say, just say 1,000. Just to say check mark 1,000. So that's about 14. That's 1450, right? If you want, you can also do something like what I did. I chose to go with a Rev 9 YPIPE and MIDPIPE combo. That was about 350. I think $300 to $350 on eBay. That allows you to now have your lower downpipes, your YPIPE and MIDPIPE 2.5 inch, and that could bolt up to your stock exhaust. I'm just a little older, you know what I'm saying? I don't want my cars loud. So that bolts right up, and that should allow you to have higher top end performance rather just having lower downpipes and stock exhaust. So that might be able to give you a bit more higher wheel horsepower and a higher RPM range, because there's less restrictions in the exhaust. Even though the stock muffler isn't still as good, because it's still so far away from the turbines itself or the turbo itself that it shouldn't hinder your performance too much. And that should bring you, let's say that is 350. That is 1450, 5, that's about $1,800. So $1,800 for heat exchanger, lower downpipes, Rev 9, YPIPE, MIDPIPE combo, and a tune. $2,000. And you'll actually probably have more than 500 horsepower. You might be pushing like 520, 525 horsepower, because that should put you right around the range with 93 fuel, between 430, maybe 450. All depends on DA, fuel quality, and where you live and stuff like that. Oh wow, I feel like I ranted though. Hopefully it gave you a really good answer. And anybody who watched, I gave you some good answer. If I add a lower downpipes to my Q50, does it void my warranty? Think about it like this. Some people know my old way of saying things, but if you decide to cheat on your partner, would you go home with a used condom on? Exactly. So if you know that something bad happened to your car, like your motor blew or something like that, it would make sense to just take off, the part that, not saying it caused it, but you don't want them to be like, yo, that's a problem. Just saying. Personally, I prefer the looks of the Q50 over the Q60 some years ago, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. He says, wait, so I would have said Q60 coupe without a hesitation. Okay, well, what was the maintenance cost or common problems of the Q50 on the fence on getting one? Also, hope you're doing well. Thank you, man. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate that. Depends on what you get. I'm gonna say it again. 3.7, reliable. Just change the oil, tires, and brake pads. That's it. They must have no problem. 3.0T, more moving components. Turbos, higher mileage, just like any car. If an AC compressor goes out, if a starter goes out, a turbo goes out too. It happens. This stuff with long amount of time without doing proper maintenance, this stuff can happen. If you're beating on the car trying to push it to its max performance, it's gonna bring down the reliability. So there's really no, I wouldn't say common problems, but 2016 Red Sports and regular 3.0Ts have had this injector issue on just regular fuel untuned. And outside of that, the earlier model turbos, higher mileage, they may start leaking externally. But I'm not a Nissan Infiniti tech. I'm only going off from what techs have told me. So that is something that has happened, but a lot of this is because of lack of maintenance. People don't check their oil. People just beat on the car in 110-degree weather and don't give a F, you know? Okay, cool. And you said the cost. I really won't be able to give you a price. I mean, the injectors, if they go, they're like 150, 175 each. So, but you still have to pay someone to change it, or you're gonna change it yourself. Turbos are about $1,100 each, depending on what kind of car it is. But of course, you have to drop the motor to take it out. So that's some added cost. That could be a $1,500 job there, $2,000 job. I just bought a 17 Silver Sport. Been following you for a minute. Okay, appreciate that, Chris. I'm glad, Brent. I hope you enjoy the car. What about the first gen Hyundai Genesis equipped with the 4.6? 4.6. Well, I really wish they would have put that 4.6 liter in their first Genesis coupe. I think that would have been something amazing because when that Genesis came out, the M3, the E90, E92 was out with the V8 in it. And if they would have put that 4.6 liter in the Genesis, that would have immediately been a competitor to those two cars, to the C63 and to the S4 with the V8. And also, it would have been a competitor. But they chose not to do it because they wanted to keep it in the V6 game, and I get it. So it was a competitor to the G37. But just imagine if they would have just put that 4.6 in a Genesis coupe at that time, which they could have done it. They immediately would have been competing against luxury sport cars. I don't know. I think a lot of these auto manufacturers held back so much of what they could have done. I don't know. I guess they didn't think there was a market for it. What I realize is when a car is fast, there's a market. People will come. But with advertising, like I said that we talked about earlier about the ATSV and the CTSV and the Cadillacs, the market was more to older people. So younger people were like, those cars are fast, but nah, I'd rather get this BMW, Mercedes, or Audi. It's water, guys. I'm not drinking today. Well, any liquor. So much hidden power in the 3.0T. All right, cool. Okay, cool. Okay. My G37. Okay, I'm excited to see what you may get. Was your car red sport or just a regular? Oh, Alec, it was a 3.0 2018 3.0T Sport Luxe with sport package without the sport packaging. In 2018, they chose to make the sport packaging an optional thing. 2016, 2017, for all I know, it wasn't an option. If you want a 3.0T, it was a 3.0T fully. 2018, they were like, you know what? People want the bumper, they want the seats, but we'll just give them these different design wheels, but we won't give them the BBK, the paddle shifters, and the DDS suspension. That's what they chose not to do. Sucks, right? Thank you, Osama. Appreciate that, man. The older C6 S6 has Lambo V10 in it, all-wheel drive, and 450 horsepower. Easy way to get into a Lambo car. Best analogy for warranty questions. that was great information about how to tune the Q50 for really not much money at all. I'm glad I can help, bro. Lowering springs on DDS, does this work without an issue? Ryan, yes. There's a good amount of people in the community that have lowered their red sports and 3.0 Ts with DDS suspension. They usually go either with a light drop, which I recommend, and some people have done a heavier drop, such as a super down rather than a down. But just like any other shocks, they'll wear out over time. I don't know what the longevity of the DDS suspension would be as you put such a large drop on them. So I wouldn't know. I honestly wouldn't know. And I know you still want to have the functionality of turning the dial and actually feeling the firmness change, because it's not mag ride, but there is an actual difference in how the car feels when you actually change it from, excuse me, when you actually change it from comfort to an actual sport plus. So I would recommend it that you go with a lighter drop, like a 1.1 inch or 1.2 inch, or just if they're like, you know how there's an RSR down and a super down, go with the down. That's my recommendation, so that you definitely load the car an inch, but it's nothing drastic where it should wear off the shocks quick. That's just my honest opinion. Uh, the belt and pulley squealing was very common problem on the Q50. Oh yeah, thank you for MPG. Oh, I forgot all about the squealing issue. Sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me. A common issue on the VR30 3.0 T, Q50, and Q60. Sorry for the people who asked me this question. There is a TSB, Technical Service Bulletin, where the idler pulleys, not the idler pulley, the serpentine belt will actually pop and or disintegrate itself. And what would happen is when it pops, it actually destroys some of the accessory pulleys and or hoses because it spins off, and it has metal, I don't say metal strings, but it's made of metal too inside of it. And this metal could sever some hoses. And then you could be stranded on the road just because you didn't change a part that is maintenance. You're supposed to maintenance this part. A serpentine belt is supposed to get changed. It's just that on our cars, for some strange reason, for the earlier model 2016 and 2017 and 2017 Q60s, they have stated that the AC compressor is misaligned. This is why they kept on having this this belt issue, right? But this happened to 2018s, 2019s, and 2020s too. So is it really the AC compressor, even though they said they fixed it and fixed it in the later models? I don't think so. So with me having this car for the certain amount of miles I've had it, and having the different belts, do I have the belt around me? Shoot, give me a second, guys. Wait, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Guys, I'm sorry, guys. I tried to find the belt in my storage. I apologize. I tried to find it, but pretty much what I noticed in changing 1, 2, 3. I'm on my third belt change, so I changed the belt recently. So I'm on my third belt change. What happened is it started squealing, squealing, and it'll happen between about 1500 to about 2500 RPM. And the belt is actually slipping. So what I did was I thought it was the idler pulleys. So I ended up taking off the pulleys and opening them up because I'm thinking the bearings weren't lubed anymore. Usually they're packed with bearing grease, and the bearings, as it dries up, they start making noise. I took off the bearings and realized that's not the issue. And I even packed in more grease and it still made the noise. So I did one of the old tricks I should have did at the start, right? I took a water spray and I sprayed it on the belt while it was making the noise, and the squealing went away. When you do this trick, that means that the belt is what's actually causing the noise. The water saturated the belt, so that one's not squealing anymore. So I ended up changing the belt, squealing went away. Cool. A few thousand miles later, I changed the first one at 8,000. The second one I changed was it's actually recently. So I changed that one at 2021 or 22,000. So so I didn't change it 3 times. I changed it twice. and it starts to squeal. Also, and that's why I wanted the belt to show you guys. I don't even have the belt, but in the grooves where the belt, where the pulley would run, the newer belt, it's like the grooves are super. I want to find the belt because I want to help you guys out. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna find the belt because I want to know. I want you guys to know. Bear with me. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna find this belt. Ah. Yeah. I got the belt. Let me get some likes. Let me get some likes, guys. I got the belt. Bear with me. I know you guys got questions. I'm going to get to your questions, but I want to really show you guys it. So, all right. So, if you guys want to know already, you can screenshot this. This is the part number for the belt. All right. That's the part number if you want to screenshot it now. All right. So, you guys can know. Cool. I didn't know I was going to do all of this. I didn't know I was going to be on this long. So, here's the belt grooves. Let me see how it looks on video. See the belt grooves? See it? Right? What would happen is on the newer belts, there's like a felt material. And these grooves aren't as deep on the newer belts. It's like soup, like these screws are filled in. And it's super quiet. And as you add up mileage, the grooves go deeper and deeper and deeper. Remember, this is also made of rubber. So the rubber material starts to rub away. Also on top of that, it's a hot engine bay. So of course, rubber starts to become pliable and, wears away. Now, each one of these grooves have a metal band in it, right? And if you keep going with the grooves, these will actually separate. So this groove would separate from the belt. And this is what I'm thinking is happening is my honest opinion. I'm not an engineer like this, right? Even though I went to electrical engineering. I studied electrical engineering. It has nothing to do with this. What I'm thinking is there's an automatic tensioner. This tensioner puts a lot of tension on this belt. This belt is being pretty much strung out and pushed really hard against these grooves. The pulley is ripping into the serpentine belt, and with heat, time, elasticity, right? Over time, this stuff separates. On the older belts, you'll start to lose the dullness, you'll start to lose the shine, and this part will literally separate. I've seen belts that pop, they always separated. So what I'm thinking is, with time and heat, it literally just separates and the belt fails. I don't want you guys to be stuck on the side of the road because you didn't change this $40, $50, $60 part. Just change it. If it starts squealing really loud, change it. That's it. Some of you guys like to wait for warranty. I get it. But I rather the peace of mind. I would rather knowing if I'm going on a road trip 1,200 miles and my belt is squealing, I'd rather just change the belt. That's it. Just change it. It is what it is. Because if you take this to infinity, they're not going to change your belt when it's squealing. I've actually had some people actually told me that that Infiniti changed their turbos because of this. And even then, they don't even sound right. Like, you change your turbos because of the squealing belt? I don't know. I'm not a technician for Infiniti or Nissan, so I'm just some random black dude I know from YouTube. Let me get back to the questions, and I'm gonna probably go soon. But I just wanted to have that video with you guys. Now, hopefully that was informative, and I hope this helps you out, guys. So let me put it one more time up, just in case you guys want to know the part number. If you have a 3.0T, that's the one that you buy. All right, you buy that, and you change your belt yourself. Don't be stuck on the side of the road. If you have 40, if you got this car and you've done about 10,000-20,000 miles on it, and you're like, oh, I never had an issue, change it. You never know. You would hate to be the person that pops and then you have to spend a bunch of thousands of dollars to fix whatever it destroys. All right, let me run through these questions, guys, and yeah, bear with me. All right. Yo, that's funny, Smear. That's dope. How you gonna tell everybody to leave? All right, let me see what questions I have before I leave. I'm gonna have a hunch that the Q50 Q60 engines are gonna become the next LS2JZ in the next 10 years. Maybe. I think they're gonna be doing a lot of swaps soon. I definitely, like I said it before, they're gonna be putting a lot of these VR30s in the 240X, the 300ZX, 350Zs, G35s. It's gonna be something used in the drift world a lot, and also performance. I do see it happening. Just give this motor to a proper 6-speed manual, or even if they do put it in a 9-speed 400Z, this car should perform a lot better. Do you think a JB4 and Red Sport is exhaust and user 93 can beat a Kia Stinger 3.3? Yes. A Red Sport and 3.3 are like door to door with each other. I just want you to know that. The Genesis, the Stinger should beat it like stock for stock, but they're right around the same power and wheel horsepower. But with a JB4 and everything, yeah, I'll definitely beat it. The 392, different scenario. 8-speed 392. I've raced an 8-speed 392 Charger, and my boy had a 6-speed 392 Challenger. Challenger, it was kind of a good match, but as the power we started getting to a higher mile per hour, he just started pulling away. And the 8-speed, just better than you, man. It's just better. That car has a lot of torque. It moves. Have you actually really looked into switching to Audi? If so, what would you be looking into? If I ever went to Audi, it would be RS7, RS6, the current gen RS6, and at the bottom, an R8, of course. I would definitely get an R8, of course, but let's leave that out of there. And at the bottom will be an RS3. Those three cars. Everything else, I don't really care for RS5. That's it. That's what I would really do. There we guys. I want to push through these questions. My friend says his stock Stinger GT 3.3 can beat the stock Red Sport. What do you think? What do you say about that? I think it'll be relatively close. Like I said, I think it'll be relatively close. If I do dig races and stuff, it should be relatively close. There are some videos out there about this. He about to get a belt for you guys. Run, that's funny. Grab onto it when he swings. Okay, cool. Belt in motion. Belts in motion. So Boost, have Tom his rub twice. Torn his rubber twice. Shaking my head. That is a funny one. I tore my rubber twice. That's a good one. I like that. A great belt breakdown, by the way. I appreciate that, Arthur. As a 3.0 owner, I never got it because of the reliability. What was your best quarter mile time? Been subscribed for 2 years. At Mike, my JB4 with lower downpipes. I didn't have the full exhaust. I just had a muffler delete at the time. Lower downpipe, YPIPE, and muffler delete, AMS intake, and heat exchanger. I had the BARUM tuning exchanger. The best time I did a track was 113, 114 at 12.26. That was the best I did on a JB4. On the Q50 with full exhaust and an actual tune on 93, the best I did was 11.8. I think it was 11.88 or 11.8 at about 118. But here's the thing. My 60 foot was terrible when I did I had a 120 pass at 11.88. But my 60 foot was terrible. It was a 2.1. My car is capable of doing 11. Our car, excuse me, are capable of doing 1.7, 1.6s on proper prep at the track, and if you will lose your launch control or not. It's definitely capable. So, and I've definitely got the best 60 foot I've gotten was when I had JB4. It was 1.696. That is insane on a JB4. But that was also my best one at 12.26 at 113. When you think about the times I just gave you, like 11.8, 12.2, that's not much of a big difference. But there's 3 things you're missing here. My 60 foot was terrible at 2.1. So I was spinning out the hole. 2, the mile an hour was 120 compared to 113. That's a huge difference. And 3, a difference of 11.88 and a 12.26 is almost a half a second. Half a second quicker at the track is huge. If you guys ever went to the drag strip, a half a second difference is you losing. You're like, whoa, this stinks. Like, so just putting that out there. RS7 is a nightmare if it ever breaks, and Alex has a transmission issue that costs $10,000. R7 has a torque converter transmission, from what I remember. I believe the S7 has a dual clutch. I don't see why those cars should have issues unless you start modifying them. But I believe with those cars, you less is more. So I saw that AMS recently. I mean, they've been tuning these cars forever, but I saw that AMS recently just did a tune only on RS7. The car did 510 to the wheel stock. They tuned it. It came out to like 640 wheel stock. Everything else stock. And I'm like, that is a huge gain on 93 and nothing else. That's insane. Of course, reliability wise, we'll see what happens. But that is a very good gain on those type of cars. Yes, you get a 3.0 T Q50 300 horsepower, and you can tune it, modify it, and now it can be making 450 horsepower, wheel horsepower. That, I mean, it gained about almost its full amount of power, 300 horsepower. I mean, you can even do E85 on these 3.0 Ts, high pressure, low pressure fuel pump, and push 600 horsepower. So you're literally making double the power. But at the end of the day, most of us, we want to still get the best bang for our buck. And that's why I throw in the 340 torque. The B58 is still the better drive line, and it gives you the best return in performance, in my honest opinion. ZF transmission, B58 closed deck motor, car is about 3,800 pounds, all-wheel drive. It's really good. It's really good. So apple to apple, that car is better than the VR30. Apple to apples. So, what the clap or the belt? Was that a clap or the belt? That's actually funny. Would you ever get a C63? Nana? Yes. I would love to get a C63S. Do they make them all-wheel drive yet? I don't know. I know they make the E63 all-wheel drive. I don't know if they made the C63 all-wheel drive, but knowing that AMG is finally moving down from their twin turbo V8s to a 4-cylinder single turbo, I'm very sad for what's going to happen in UK and overseas, that they're doing this for emissions. We gotta save the earth, but you just took the AMG out of AMG, getting rid of the V8s. So we'll see what happens in the future with that. But I love those cars. Those cars are dope. Just very pricey for where my budget is right now in my life and my future. I would love to get in those luxury cars, and as they get more affordable, you'll start seeing people push those more. But those motors are not cheap to find. You can go to a junkyard right now and pick up a VR30 for like $1,500 to $2,000. That's a twin turbo 6-cylinder motor. That is affordable. You blow up your C63S motor, you're gonna cry. You're gonna be mad at yourself, and then you're gonna cry when you go try to buy another one on a crate. You're gonna freaking cry. So I think these cars are better because they're luxurious, faster, blah blah blah. More engineering went into it, but also on top of that, it's like when you think about even a 440i or 340i B58. I did a video comparing the price of just the used motors. A B58 is like $5,000 to $6,000 on a pallet. That's a $5,000 to $7,000 motor on a pallet. That's insane. Maybe even more. I've seen more than that with low miles, like 10,000. I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta pick your poison. You know what I'm saying? Boost. Not sure we've heard you say anything about the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8s to 10s. Have you considered one of those? Um, One of my coworkers, he had a Evo 9 MR. Done up nice, sexy. I'm talking about done. It is done. And he was around cars, these type of cars, and yo, his car was turnkey. He got all the bugs out of it. I looked at his car. I'm like, this car is sexy. I also have driven a big turbo Evo 8. I have old videos from like years ago when I first started the YouTube channel, but I never put the videos out, me reviewing it, because I sucked. But I drove a 600, I think it was 550 to 600 wheel horsepower big turbo Evo 8. I know how to drive stick, but this car was a fucking animal. But here's the thing. Most people, no disrespect to people who have Evos and STIs, I still take those cars alike, as people would say, no disrespect, but it's like a boy racer car. When I was growing up, I love the Fast and Furious. I love that type of. I like, oh my god, tuning, blah, blah, I love it. But being around this type of sport and being around people who own those cars, and it's like you are only getting it for the tuning and the exclusivity of it being a lightweight car. It's for that purpose. But I've always been the type of guy who like luxurious looking type of cars and give you luxurious feeling, be comfortable. So most people who do hit me up on my Boost Emotion on IG, they came from Evos and STIs. They said, you know what? I want a little bit more of a mature car. I would have liked to get a C63S, but I'm not can afford it. But I also noticed that these Q50s do good numbers on the simple tune, downpipe, and a heat exchanger. And I don't want to step back from. I had my STI at 500 horsepower, and I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to something slower. So they'll get into a Q50 game or a B58 game because of that. So I would say it's more of a boy race, and that's just what turns me off about it. And even if it was a project car, no, I've learned so much from the people around me who've had the 8, 9, and 10. From the 5-speed manual swap to the 6-speed manual swap. The 5-speed manual swap because it's stronger than the 6-speed manual. From timing problems, timing belt problems, and even in the STI crowd, I don't know how they do it. Like, yes, I love the way the car sounds, but other than the Hawkeye STI, I don't really have a love for that car unless you even go back farther. It's like, what is it, Tim McLaren or Tom McCollin? I forgot his name. That used to do he used to do the off-roading. I forgot what it's called, the rally racing with the early Imprezas. Like outside of that, like those are probably that would probably be like the only car I would ever want to get because the nostalgia behind it of like growing up and always loving those cars. If you know about BMW F Series, they break axle breakthrough launches a lot of the same issues. Um, yeah, NYC tuner. It depends if there's a lot of prep. If it's rear wheel drive, yes. And they have good if they have like a really sticky tire, yes, they do snap axles. It could happen to Q50s too. I haven't really heard too many people. I've only known about 3 people who've broken their axles. I'm talking about rear axles, not the front ones like me for being stupid, but I'm talking about like rear axles, and they broke at the track. But outside of that, rear drive guys have had an issue. I think someone stated that just another M340 has snapped an axle. I'm not too positive. I have to check his content. I haven't checked him in a while. Okay. Yeah, think about your right boy racing thing. They almost totaled my Q70 when it was in the shop. I was looking for a Porsche Panamera. Porsche Panamera is definitely a nice car, and I believe they kept the same body style for quite a long time. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with those cars. I think those cars are very luxurious for what they are. I don't know about reliability wise, but a simple tune on 93 on those cars, like a DME tune. I watch Mod to Fame, so he got a DME tune on a gutted imported. He got a collector, a gutted cats, and a DME tune on 93 fuel. And his car is putting out like 540, 550 horsepower. I'm like, that's good for that car. Um, Once SCI Evo owners grow up, they get BMWs and eventually GTRs. Well, I've seen that it's really the high horsepower Evo SCI guys who end up getting GTRs because I think that Evos and STIs, they graduate to the GTR very easy because it's still similar type of car. The GTRs are dope, but it still has the boy racer feeling. Even though if you got a GTR, you're still shut down the game. People are like, oh, GTR. It still has a boy racer feeling. Remember, guys, I rented that car for about a week 3 years ago. I love the GTR, but it's not a luxurious car. It is a car purpose driven to be a performance car. That's what it's for. Yes, they throw leather in it. Yes, I don't even know if they even had heated seats, but they probably has heated seats and heated steering wheel. But outside of that, it is a purpose-driven car. It's not a luxurious car. Get a Chevy SS and stop playing. Eric, man, come on, man. I'm not gonna get a Chevy SS. I'm not gonna get a 6-speed manual V8 sedan. As those dope as those are. I was actually trying to get my friend to get one. He has a 5.0 Mustang. I was like, bro, why don't you get an SS? But he kind of wanted to go into the truck category, so he'd been talking about either getting a Trackhawk or just a regular SRT Cherokee. Um, Transversal 2JZ swap Camry ascended. Nah, what? No, stop playing. Usman, why is it that when I do standing burnout 3.0 TQ ever drive, my car temp starts raising up to hot? Alberto, that's a problem. You got a problem. Like I don't, your car shouldn't be overheating that easy. You better check your coolant level. If you're doing a standstill burnout, unless you're doing a burnout forever and you're revving it off the pegging it off the red line, I don't understand why it's overheating. So you better check your coolant level. If I got a Q60 overdrive, anything I need to watch out for? At J2 Quick, at the start of this conversation, the start of this live, common issues. You said Q60, I'm assuming a 3.0 T. If it's a 3.0 T, just change out your serpentine belt. If you have higher mileage, change out the serpentine belt. Just look it up. Look up my videos about serpentine belt and serpentine belt change. I went in depth on it. I'm not gonna really repeat it again, but just know that these belts could pop on you, and this is a maintenance item. It's $40-$50 for this, and when it pops, it can put you into a lot more issues. So just change it out if you have 10-20,000 miles in your car, just so that you don't run into any issues where you're stranded and your car overheats. All right. And outside of that, just fuel injector issues on the earlier model 2017, 2016 Q50 and Q60s, but that doesn't happen that often. And finally, the turbos. The higher the mileage, you may run into some oil leaking from the turbos, like on my car. But at the end of the day, turbos need to be replaced at higher mileage. It's gonna happen no matter how good you are with maintenance. You just don't know when it will happen. All right, Boosh, you showed everyone your blue Q60 yet? I ain't got no blue Q60. I don't know what you talking about, bro. I ain't got no Q60. Let me see. Belt issues too. Hey, he said cops. Okay, for real. R33, 34 would be. Him belts too. Okay, no belt. Got you. Boost got so many belts. It's his bondage. Yo, stop talking your shit, bro. That's it. I'm gonna tie the girl up with the belts. Hey, my Q60 squeaking at engine bay around 40,000 after driving 30 minutes. Infiniti said that both turbos need to be replaced. Is it possible as a belt issue or not turbo? At Roos, yes. Yeah, it could be. I said a little earlier, if you want to do this as a test, I don't know if you feel comfortable doing it. See if you can have the car in park and rev it up to 1500 to 3000 RPM and see if you can hear this squealing noise. I have videos on my channel about this already, so you might have to leave this video and just go on my channel and put up belt squeal or belt issue Q50 Q60, and I'll have examples that will play. What you can do is it's a cup of water or a bottle of spray of water. When it's squeaking, just spray some of the, while the car is running, spray some of the water on the belt itself and see if the squeaking goes away. If the squeaking goes away, it's the belt. Majority of the time, it's the belt. He said cops, blah, 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 boost, blah, 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 blah. Hey, my Q60 was squeaking at engine bay. Okay, cool. Did you feel a difference when you added the strut bar? Yeah, I did. It wasn't much. A strut bar is like an accessory modification. Like, to get the biggest drastic change in handling would be coilovers or lowering springs. But when you guys go with a strut bar or a rear sway bar, it definitely changes up the feeling of the car. It definitely changes up the feeling of the car. But it's like coilovers, big change. Strut bar, rear sway bar, small change. So you know what I'm saying? So that's my rate. That's what I can sit there and say. But yes, I did feel a difference. It would make sense you have a blue Q50. Why not get a Q60 the same way? That would be cool at Let's Show, Jay. That'd be cool, man. That would really be cool. I would love to have that. You know what I'm saying? I would love to have both. But in all honesty, like I would like to have like a GTR and like an M3 at the same time. That would be pretty cool too. All right, guys. So I've been on here for about what, 2 hours? I'll hang out with you guys for about 5 more minutes. It doesn't show the time frame on how long I've been here. Let me see. Because I really try to give you guys a lot of time. Yeah, I'm also up here for 2 more minutes. So I'm gonna go for like 5 more minutes and then I'm gonna be out. Let me see any other questions in the chat. If you guys have any questions, just type it right now. See if I can run through them. If not, boostinmotion IG, Facebook, and boostinmotion@gmail.com. Slate on the new gray. Yeah, the new Nardo gray or gray slate is kind of dope on the Q50 and Q60. So if you guys don't know, the 2021 models, they got rid of the iridium blue. They replaced it with some other blue, which is like, okay, but it's not the iridium blue. But they do now have a slate gray color, like the Nardo gray Audi color, dope. Or the destroyer gray that's like on Hellcats. So you do have them in Q50s and Q60s now. So they are actually up to the game. And the new ones have power folding mirrors now. So power folding mirrors are an option on the 2021 model Q50 and Q60s now. All right, cool. Has the other guys' insurance cashed out yet? Marco, your guys are gonna get updates this week or next week, cause say Saturday. So you guys are gonna get a delightful surprise. And in the next 2 weeks, you guys are gonna know if I'm gonna get a new car or not. So in the next 2 weeks, you guys need to stay tuned because there's gonna be some updates and there's gonna be some shaking around in on this YouTube channel. So please check it out. Thank you, go like we're talking to you. I appreciate that, Smear. Um, my Q60 has around 48K on it. Nothing so far, but hopefully nothing happens soon. All right, Jay. So I would recommend just do this quick maintenance item. Just change his belt. You said 48K. If it's a 2017 and up Q60, change the belt. Screenshot this if you want. Screenshot the part number if you want. Let me just move it around a little bit better. Let me pull it back. Screenshot the part number. Okay? Change his belt. I don't want you to run into any issues. I'm telling you. Some people have it even, when his belt pops, it wasn't even squealing. It just finally just went out. Change it, okay? Okay, a few more minutes before I go. What would be the max amount of miles you would buy a used Q60? I don't really mind. I just want it to be affordable. I'm not afraid of the motor or the transmission. What I'm mainly afraid of is are the turbos in decent condition, and you really can't tell, because you won't be able to tell how much wear on the turbos unless you look at the mileage. But I'm not afraid of motor transmission, and knowing that I have RT turbos still sitting over here in the corner, if I did get another car and they went the next day, first I would try to get it warranty through if I still have extended warranty or warranty through the Infiniti, but also wherever I bought it from. But if not, I know I can still go purchase RT turbos for about $2,200 and just put it in there. Yeah, Boost, you should get an AVO. Nah, I'm not getting no AVO. Get out of here. Just what's up, brake? Jay, how about brakes and rotors? Um, you could get stay with any traditional brakes and rotors, but at the end of the day, my favorite brake pad is Hawk 5.0 pads. Hawk 5.0 pads. This is for people who really like to beat on their car and do quick pulls and want driving confidence. And the pad gets better as it heats up. Go in order for sure. Brake pads, rotors for sure. Okay, cool. Pads and tires are really bad. Yeah, the stock tires suck on the Q50 Q60s. Get away from those run flat shitty tires. You helped us so much with these VRs. Just wanted to say thanks bunch. Thank you, Future Dawn. I appreciate it, man. Just hopefully, I'm just trying to help you guys on your journey. Some people come to this community, they don't know too much about the platform or just about cars, and giving some information is better than no information. I like a few people do have R1 concepts, but I don't have that on my car or had it on many of my cars. But I've heard good reviews. But I really like Hawk 5.0 pads. I'll check out those pads. Yeah, just look them up. Look up if you have the BBK, the Ecobano brake calipers, then they should be able to be there. If you have the standard non-sport calipers, they do make it, but you have to buy it for the G37 non-sport because the G37 and the Q50 use the same brake pads, no matter if it's a non-sport or a sport. They use the same brake pads, so you might have to get that part number. I had that on my non-sport calipers about a year and a half ago. Great pads. What tires do you recommend then instead of socks? I'm still a fan of Michelin because I used to work for Michelin and BF Goodrich, but I think Continental is not too far from what I would actually choose and recommend. But I'm also a fan of just budget ultra high performance tires, and I've had those BARUM Bavarious tires. You can check on my channel where I put those BARUM various tires on. I've had those summer tires for like the last 2 years. I did about 20,000 miles on them, and they did what they're supposed to do. They took the extra load. They took a beating. They did what they're supposed to do. I only had to replace one because it had a nail, like 2 nails in it. But even then, great tire. I'll check those pads out. Okay, cool. But outside of that, guys, I'm about to go. I want to take it again right now. There's a Teespring account below. I'm gonna change up the merch in the design of the merch on that. You definitely could do so. I'm gonna get rid of make them sell it, races only. Some of those novelty shirts. I'm gonna get rid of Chase's Erase, and I'm gonna get rid of the whole typical boost in motion. This is kind of like the newer look I'm going for. I'm just testing this out for now, but I may not keep it. But I'm just testing this kind of like that Supreme look. But I'm gonna change up the merch in the next 2 weeks. So if there's anything that you like in the merch section that you think is pretty cool, just know that I'm gonna change it up really soon. And this might be the last time you've seen this type of merch on there. So I'm gonna go with a slightly different look. So outside of that, guys, if you want to contact me, you already know what to do. Get the likes up before you leave. Get the likes up. Contact me at boostinmotion IG, Facebook, and boostinmotion@gmail.com. You guys have been supporting me and supporting me a lot. 2020 has been a great year for the channel, even though we've been going through the external pandemic and stuff. This has been a great journey, and I'm just super appreciative of having you guys who watch me, who watch the videos from the start to the finish. And if you watch and you don't hit the like button, you got to be part of the hitting the like button gang. I'm telling you, I realized as doing my research, when you guys hit the like button, it really suggests my videos to people who don't watch Q50s. Literally. It'd be like, wow, they like this video. We're going to send it to this guy who watched Hellcats. Literally, suggestion. That's why when you guys watch like Doug DeMiro and Vehicle Virgins and all these other YouTubers, that you'll see another suggestion because people hit the likes so much. So I want to try to get the percentage of the likes up to views. So always look at the view count whenever you start watching a video and just automatically hit the like button. But outside of that, guys, you have a good morning, good afternoon, good night. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I don't even know how to hit the stop button. You have a good day. I think I got this camera backwards. Peace, guys. Peace. I don't even know how to hit the X button. I'm out. All right. Let me see. X, and